How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to New Mexico State Men's Basketball News. I'm Marshall, and you're seeing what might possibly be the last video I do before I go back to school. I head back on Saturday, so 5 days from now. Plan to leave here from Artesia around 10 in the morning, get out there by 1. That's the time I need to check in. We have about 30 minutes to get checked in. I think you can go a little before. Last year, I checked in at 8 in the morning because I was already in Las Cruces for a few days prior. So I just want to kind of get it done with. And I got there like a couple minutes before 8, and I was already able to get moved in just fine. So hopefully it's the same thing, because I feel like I might be able to get out there a little before 1. Get moved in and adjusted. The first day is that Saturday, so I just want to get done as soon as possible. But I also don't want to have to wake up at 5 in the morning just to get there at 8. I feel like that's not really a point. Kind of a waste, so I was like, I'll just go out there when I can. And it's actually supposed to be the coolest day that day. As you guys know, it's been really hot in the summer. I think I checked Las Cruces. It's supposed to be 91 that day from what I remember, which might seem hot, but if you live in Las Cruces, it's definitely one of the cooler days, which is weird to say because I know it's been over 100 here in Artesia and Las Cruces and a lot of parts of New Mexico for like the past week or so. You guys will see the OG background of the room. It might be kind of like, a blank wall, kind of like over here. And then once I get more posters and the stuff up, be back to normal, then I always might make some videos in like Christmas Wire room. Those would be the two most places I usually film. Then if I'm back home for Christmas, film over there. I film videos in a lot of places, but the primary two spots will be my room, my dorm room, and the Crimson Wire room at Milton Hall on MSU's campus. Today's video is going to be pretty similar to the last video. I'm going to talk about some former and current Aggies. Let's get straight to it. The first player we're going to be talking about today is Sim Bhullar, who is one of just 17 Aggies to make the leap from New Mexico State to the NBA. He's played out a pretty solid, professional career, played in the NBA during the 2014-15 season for the Sacramento Kings. Played in just 3 games, played only like 5 minutes total, had 1 bucket, averaged less than a point. I wish he would have been given a little more of an opportunity. But like I said, he did some good things in the G League and professionally. I won't get into that. Want to talk about his New Mexico State career first, though. As a freshman for the Aggies during the 2012-13 season, he averaged 10 points, 7 boards, about 2.5 blocks, shot 62% from the field. Didn't attempt any threes in both years he was there, from what I know of. Didn't shoot, the free throw too well. Only shot about 46%. But for a 7'5" center, you wouldn't really expect him to shoot that great. And we've had guys shoot worse than that. I think Nate Chimanga this past year shot like 25% from the free throw line. He didn't have a whole lot of opportunities from the line, but definitely not great at all if you're shooting 25% from anywhere on the field, especially the free throw line. It's kind of where it should be the highest. But again, for centers, I guess you kind of expect them not to shoot the greatest, but definitely wish both those guys would have shot it a little bit better. Sim Bhullar did lead the Aggies to a 24-11 overall record, 14-4 in conference, won the WAC, just like they've done multiple times, made to the NCAA tournament, but lost by 20 in the first round. They lost to St. Louis, who was a really good team. And as you guys know, the Aggies had a 29-year span from 1993 to 2022 where they didn't win an NCAA tournament game. Got there many times, dominating the WAC, but were always facing against top-level teams, Power 5 schools, as like a 12 seed, 13 seed, going against a 4 or 5 seed. Or sometimes, I think there was one year they were 14 playing against like a number 3 Clemson, I want to say it was. I can't remember what year that was. Might have been like 2017 or something. But I know like the last couple years they've made the NCAA tournament. They've been the 12 seed, and obviously they beat UConn in 2022. Hopefully this next year, if we can win Conference USA, I think a 12 seed is definitely doable, kind of like what Liberty did last year. Sim Bhullar did improve his second year. His points are pretty similar, averaged about 10.4 compared to 10.1 his first year, but he averaged just under 8 rebounds a game and averaged about 3.5 blocks, 3.4 to be exact. Again, you guys know I'm a stat guy sometimes, but did a lot of great things. Shot well from the field. Again, didn't shoot a whole lot of threes and didn't really shoot well from the free throw line, but overall a dominant big. He did go undrafted in the 2014 NBA draft, but again was still picked up by the Sacramento Kings and was given an opportunity. The Aggies also improved a lot from the year prior. I mean, not a lot, but they were 26-10 overall. They also went 12-4 in conference and won conference yet again, but did lose in the first round to a 4-seed San Diego State team that was really, really good. Only lost by 4 points, though, 73-69. A lot better than the year prior when they lost 64-44 to St. Louis. He did play in the G League that first year. He was with the Kings for the Reno Bighorns. Kind of similar stats than he had at NMSU, which about 10 points, 9 boards, and about just under 4 blocks a game. So really good for him. Played in 39 games total, started 17 of them, but still played a lot of big minutes and did a lot of great things for, a guy you would expect. I mean, he was playing in the NBA. I don't know if he was on a 2-way contract, but I think he was. He's playing in the G League a little bit as well and was able to show why he deserved to get a little bit more PT in the NBA. The next year during the 2015-16 season, stats were a little bit lower. Played for the Raptors 905, which is where Evan Gilliard II used to play, former Aggie. A lot of former Aggies have played in the G League, Sergio Rice, Teddy Allen, DeJuan Gordon, to name a few as of recent, even Xavier Pinson. In his second G League season, he also played 39 games, but started in 27 of them. Did, play a little bit less minutes. Was playing about 26 minutes his first year, then only about 22 his second year. But still was pretty effective. Averaged about 9.5 points, about 6 boards, with 2 of them being offensive boards. So overall, not bad. He also averaged about a block a game that year. He did play professionally overseas in 2024. Not sure if he's played any other years overseas. Wasn't able to find much, but he did play in Taiwan where he averaged about 14 points, 10 to 11 boards, so a mean double-double there. He also averaged about 2 assists, 2.5 blocks, and half a steal a game, so got it done on the defensive end as well. And overall has had a successful career in basketball outside of New Mexico State, I'd say. Made some pretty good money. Was the first Indian to play in the NBA. I've heard to mention that. And so that's a accomplishment itself. Said played very well in the G League, overseas. Solid career for him overall. The next few guys we're going to talk about probably won't take too long because we've talked about it a lot before, especially recently. But I made social media posts about him, so I thought I might as well just talk about him a little bit. On Instagram, I did a collaborative post with Jemel Jones and this other scout that has almost 1,000 likes because those guys have a bunch of followers. My basketball account has about 500, and Jamel's got like almost 10,000. I think the scout dude had like almost 15,000. My personal account had like 1.6 thousand, I think, and I thought that was a lot. These guys were like, nah, it ain't nothing, brother. Thankfully for them, though, I have a post that almost has 1,000 likes. I know we're all sharing it together, but, got a lot of, good feedback and got some more followers overall. I think I'm about 553 there right now, and if you haven't, followed the basketball account, it's just NM State MBB News. Please go be part of the journey. I feel like we hit 600 by the time the season starts. I've had it for about, a little over 2 years now, and it's been, going very well, doing better than I expected it to. Same with the YouTube and Twitter account as well. Doing my community posts on here as well. So really happy with how it's all going overall. But that post is kind of talking about a lot of what we talked about recently. How he's going to be a great scorer for us. Probably going to be our best player, if not one of our best players. Averaged about 19 points per game last year at Cal State Bakersfield. Averaged nearly 20, which is insane at the college level, at any level in college, whether it's D1, D2, D3, NAIA, JUCO. He's going to be a great player for us. Had some really good years playing junior college basketball as well, where he dominated, averaged over 20 a game. So really expecting him to do a lot of big things for us this next season. He even had a 45-point game last year and had a year playing junior college basketball where he averaged 33.5 points per game, 33.6 to be exact. Again, I'm a stat guy. And averaged just, under 10 rebounds a game, so averaged almost a double-double. I think it was like 9.6 or 9.8 or something. So he's not just a scorer. He can grab rebounds too. He's about 6'4", 6'5", good size, and just really, really excited to see him play for the Aggies. Again, I think we have a big chance at having a solid season of at least 20 wins, if not more. Have a chance at competing for a Conference USA title, finishing within the top 4 at least, and having a chance at the NCAA tournament and getting maybe a 12 seed, maybe 13, 14 at the latest or at the lowest. 2 guys who will not be a part of this year's team, but were the past 2 that I wish could be a part of an NCAA tournament team, which Coach Uden said that he thinks last year's team definitely could have done it, had the potential to. Conference USA was wide open. The year before probably didn't have as much of a chance, but Christian Cook and Robert Carpenter were great scorers for us, 2 of our best scorers the past 2 years, 2 of our best players. Robert coming off the bench a lot of those games, still had 5 games where he scored 20 or more, had 4 20-point games, and had a 21-point game in his last game against Kennesaw State. We did only win 2 of those games, but still dominated and played well and hit many clutch shots. And even the games he didn't score 20, had 3 straight 16-point games last year. Again, like I said, previous videos, the only team he really struggled with consistently was Liberty. Didn't score a single point against him in the 3 times he played, with the first only playing a few minutes before he did throw that punch. And then these past 2 games this past year just couldn't buy a shot from the field. I believe he didn't even get to the free throw line, so maybe if he did, he would have more of an opportunity. But still a lot of big games. And then Christian Cook had 9 games scoring 20 or more. And probably could have had, at least almost double digits, could have had 10 games scoring 20 or more. But, toward the end of the year, this past season, just kind of struggled a little bit. But again, they were defending him very well. I was talking to my friend Pete the other day, who watched the video. Shout out to you if you're watching this. We're talking about how Teddy Allen was getting locked up against Arkansas, only at 12 points, because they were really locking in on him, which gave Johnny DeCants an opportunity to have 16 points and have one of his best games of his career in his last game as an Aggie. So it kind of reminds me how, teams are defending Cook really well, and that kind of opened the doors for Peter to have a great season, which is why I think that, it's arguable to say which player had the better year, Peter or Cook, because, again, I do believe that Peter had the better year, but teams were, honing in on Cook really well. So maybe if they weren't doing that, Cook would have ended up having the better season, because he had a better first half of the season, and then, Peter had a little bit of a sickness, and then once he came back, after a game or 2, he was really good. I really wish Peter wasn't sick that game against UTEP, because he only had 3 points and 2 boards. He was not himself. That was his worst game of the year. But again, it's because he was playing sick, and I respect him for trying to play, but who didn't even regrets playing him anyway? But literally the next game after that, he was getting a double-double, and he's had a lot of great games overall. If he played like that game and wasn't sick, we would have beat UTEP, and that we would have been 15 straight years we beat him at home. That, streak wouldn't have been broken. But as you guys know, this last year, so we're not as great at home as I wish we were, but still 9-6 overall, which isn't bad. Overall, it's going to close out for the video. Really hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm out.